Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Wills. I'm the Director of Funding Growth at Start Engine, and I'm thrilled to be here with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself, and Steve Wiley, the CEO and President of Innovega. Innovega is currently raising a round of funding on Start Engine, so I'd like to hand it off to you, Steve, to share a bit of background on Innovega, the company's mission to transform vision technology, and some of the key milestones Innovega has achieved.
Alex, good to see you. Kevin, good to meet you. We're a developer of smart glasses, also known as AR glasses, digital glasses. Many would say we've been a pioneer in this space. We all own smartphones. Many of us wear a smartwatch. But given the explosion of quality and richness of media, AI-enabled media, we're quickly exceeding the capacity of the existing devices. We started our company with the conviction that smart glasses would be so natural and so powerful, and that we would want to be part of that. To a large extent, it's due to the fact that our vision is responsible for 80% of our perception, 80% of our experience in our lives. And a pair of glasses sitting at the head is in proximity to all of those important senses, well beyond vision. So our hearing, our speech, our thinking, our memory. So we went down a path of smart glasses, but glasses that respected the fact that the vision component was so powerful. And so our glasses are unique from the standpoint of delivering very large display or vision experience. Think about VR headset, which for the competition is still a VR headset, and none of us are wearing it on this call today. So think of VR quality in a standard pair of glasses. 80% of us own a pair of glasses. Kevin and I are both wearing them. So it's a very natural way for us to interface with the world. Perhaps the other unique aspect of Innovega is that we wanted to focus, at least initially, on those deep vertical markets. It's rather than a simple consumer play. We did about $5 million with the U.S. Army, and we'll circle back and do more with the defense community. But we started to think through the vertical markets where we could have a big positive impact immediately, and a gift to humanity, we called it. And we thought about patients, 1 billion patients that have impairments of one sort or another. And since we're vision experts, clinical folks, technical folks, it was very natural for us to think about the vision impaired, legally blind. And I thought it would be too small a market. It'd be a niche. But it turns out 295 million people in the world are vision impaired, legally blind, growing to 500 million by 2050. It's also a growing market from a standpoint that we're all getting older, and our vision, our hearing starts to decline with age. So you've got a market that's huge, much larger than any of us anticipated. It's growing naturally because lifespans are extending. And of course, it has that big positive human impact. That's got us into the business. It's put focus on what we're doing. We have filed 75 patents. We've built all sorts of configurations of glasses products, tested them with vision impaired patients across the entire spectrum of diseases, some 80% of the diseases we've covered. And the results are outstanding. On average, we take individuals who are legally blind, visually impaired, and we restore them to reading, watching TV, recognizing loved ones as if they had 20/20 vision. So we are restoring vision to the hundreds of millions of those who have lost it. And the vision becomes their experiences and, of course, restoring their quality of life. That's our business, and that's our status.
Well, obviously, use case here is interesting. I had some questions about it, though. When you talk about restoring vision, if you're completely blind, that doesn't work. This is if you have reduced vision, right?
That's exactly. We define it as legally blind. So I think it's 8% of all of those who are legally blind are absolutely blind. There's.
Oh, I see. So you can't drive if you're legally blind. But how big is that addressable market? I mean, this is the primary use case for this application, right?
It's an initial use case. Think of them as generic glasses, agnostic to how they're used, entertainment, enterprise, etc. But we are tailoring it for the purpose of legally blind, visually impaired. It's 295 million patients presently, and as I say, growing to about 500 million over the next 20 years.
And
So
how do you acquire those customers? How do you reach them? Do you go through a medical professional, or can they buy direct, or how does it work?
I think we might do both. The glasses that we're launching end of next year, or plan to launch end of next year, with help from Start Engine on our raise, do not require a market clearance and FDA approval. So we can launch product in Taiwan, we can launch in the UAE, we can launch in North America, and from a standpoint of distribution, could be sold very nicely through a Costco, Walmart, Target that have vision centers. Equally, we could do e-commerce and sell it, online. But equally, we've got an investment from the world's largest supplier of assistive aids. They're in 90 countries, and we signed an LOI, and they would like to put it through the distribution, which in fact ends up in the lap of the optometrist and the ophthalmologist. So we have multiple levels of distribution available to us, and complete flexibility to choose one over the other.
What does it cost you to make it, and what do you sell it for? And is there enough room for a distributor profit as a partner?
The cost of goods in any volume, we assess in the order of $500. The products that are sold in this space to the visually impaired, they're VR headsets essentially, or they're goggles. They obviously don't sell well, because last thing visually impaired, legally blind want to do is to draw more attention to themselves. They sell from $3,000 to $6,000. We'd like to be at the low end of that. So think about a $500 cost to $3,000 price to the patient. And then think about $150 a month, $5 a day.
You know, it's interesting because that price point is almost identical to the high-end hearing aids and
Correct.
audio assistance that is being developed by companies like Starkey. They're in that, $3K for two devices, and it's way beyond just hearing aids now. They do translation, they augment hearing to balance out. I mean, I can see how this kind of fits into, and they have distribution margins, so they're able to use dealers all over the country. And the reason I know this is I use that device when I'm taping television in my right ear. It's a Bluetooth, and it's very similar to what you're talking about, but I can have someone talking to me by text, and it translates it from 5 languages into English while I'm live on TV or taping Shark Tank while the IFB in the left. It's similar. How are the glasses, how much like glasses do they look? Like it's
mandatory. They are like 2-ounce pair of glasses that you and I are wearing, and that is going to make the difference. And the impossible element of this is, how do you pack a VR experience? How do you pack a big display,
and
big
where are you
lens
putting
experience?
electronics? Down the arm? Like, where are they going?
They'll end up in the glasses themselves. Initially, we'll tether it to our phone, which is connected, of course, to the cloud and your AI agent.
Yeah.
So the electronics, the battery, the compute, the memory is initially in the phone. But we're certainly on a path within a few years to take the elements of the phone that we need. We don't need the display, we don't need the battery, to take the compute, memory, and other elements in a phone and move it up to the glasses. Then they'd be completely standalone. And what you're describing, the hearing element, for example, that's a bolt-on thing. So the glasses would have microphones, they'd have speakers, they'd have other sensors. And by the way, they'd restore functional vision if you're legally blind. But so many may have a hearing problem. As we think about Google and the lens and the recognition programs that exist, a person who's legally blind could be seeing their coffee cup and trying to read something on it. And as hard as they tried and we tried, they still couldn't get there. They just asked, hey, is that an 8 or is that a 3? Could I get 8 shots of cappuccino or 8 shots of espresso or 3 in my coffee?
Could I use it if the use case for the legally seeing, if I can use that terminology, could I get data fed to me through the glasses?
You're talking from a standpoint of the analytics of either looking at the world or looking at the person?
Or just having a text that if I'm doing something else, it's almost like heads-up display on a jet aircraft or in a car.
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yeah, 100%. So, for example, the person is looking at a display. They're looking at the world through cameras and displays with magnification and algorithms that are enabling them to interpret the world. But overlaid on top of that could be your text messages, your emails, etc. Absolutely.
When is this going to be ready for the prototyping or for people to? I want to try this.
Yeah, it's available now, and we're testing patients. We had a 9-year-old in our lab last week. We've had, some 20, 30 patients that have tested with absolutely uniform results. The cool part, I went to a baseball game. I'm from Britain, so I haven't been to many baseball games in my life. But as I sat there in the box, I was visually impaired. So as I looked down at these players, the little stick people running around, I thought to myself, I'd like to be 6 feet away from them, not like 100 feet away. So the same product that we have for the visually impaired patient, the hearing impaired patient, is identical to the product that a consumer would have in a sports event, for example. So it's very powerful. The glasses are agnostic. They tether to a phone, onto the cloud. They run an app, and suddenly they become entirely personalized for the application, whether it's for patients or non-patients.
So
And
why isn't this a better form design than goggles? I mean, can it be used with game? Look, I'm just trying to get as much info as I can here. Can it be used in the same way for VR, or is it there's too much light coming in from the sides?
Same way for VR. What have we sold? 1 million VR headsets or so. So for gaming, we've had investment from one of the largest gaming companies in the world, because what they've seen is that VR is not happening. The VR makes a better gaming experience, but how many folks will sit for hours on end on their couch wearing a VR headset and be happy is limited. And so to shift from that pound-and-a-half VR headset to a couple ounce normal glasses where you can see your friends, you can play your games, multiple feeds, it changes everything in their mind. We're picking the deep vertical because everything we test in the vertical with patients will apply as we move it into consumer markets.
I'd like to get everyone's closing thoughts on this. Kevin.
Really interesting. I mean, it's such a large addressable market in the different segments. I understand why you start with the visually impaired. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But the form factor is key here, because
critical.
It's critical. I tried the goggles. They suck.
Yeah.
And they also, there's latency problems and dizziness for about a third of the population. So there's issues there. Look, it's this is a space we've been looking at for a while, because the addressable market's massive on the augmentation of vision and also interconnectivity with data. So on the heads up idea, yeah, it's very interesting. I think you've done a great job explaining, the mission of the business and where you're going. I'm really intrigued. What's the valuation of the company right now against this raise?
Yeah, we're $67 million pre-money, and we've had a couple of other folks that have tried the glasses business and have spent literally $300 million and have failed. So we're very capital efficient. Our valuation, we've set it static for the last couple of years. COVID was a crazy time, so I think we're well priced. I'd like your advice on that, of course. But I should comment too, your perspective here of how impactful it could be. For us, we view that AI is so powerful, it will change everything. But this is such a natural companion to AI. This is the natural conduit. How AI starts to have maximum impact on the user, and how one brings best of breed technology to the human. It's through the glasses. It's not through a phone that you're pulling out of your pocket every 10 minutes.
I agree with you. I would make one other comment. It's clear to me now, as we see opportunities like this, that the Start Engine mandate to curate deals like this, to find them and put them in front of the investment public, Start Engine is getting much better at it. And I compare this to what we had 3 years ago. Congratulations, Start Engine. And obviously I'm a paid spokesperson and also an investor, but this is what the whole deal is about, is to find companies like this, bring them forward, and allow people to invest democratically without a preference to a venture capitalist or something else. Steve, great job. It's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's really interesting. Very interesting.
You asked about the demo anytime. We're based in San Diego.
I definitely want to try that. Where are you located?
Yeah, we're in San Diego, but the demo travels, so we'll come to you.
Yeah.
In fact,
We'll send his office address. You can send some prototypes.
the more people that try this, that's the key. I mean, anyways, thank you. This is very informative. I liked it.
A fun fact, we were I just got back from Dubai, and this notion that this is a global problem just resonated. I met with government officials in UAE, Dubai, Saudi, and the incidence of eye disease is like 50% higher than in the US. There's 20 million folks in the Middle East with eye diseases.
Show this to Omar Alamar, the AI director in the UAE. This is the kind of stuff he loves. The guy's in his 30s. I do a lot of business in the UAE. This is exactly what he likes, and
we'd appreciate your guidance on that, Kevin. It's a foreign world to me, but their hunger for innovation, their willingness to experiment was stunning. I didn't anticipate it, and as I sit here today, a product that would naturally be launched in North America, because this is where we are. It's not clear to me that it would be launched in North America, or I could see it be launched in Asia, North America.
Send me the deck, and I'll send it to those guys. They're going to want to see this. It's
great. Well,
okay.
we're wrapping up now, and I know, Steve, you'd like to show a testimonial, and Kevin could jump off. He's a busy man, so I really appreciate you coming on, Kevin and Steve. Steve, do you want to intro the video?
Yeah, thanks, Alex, very much. At some level, the patients tell a story more eloquently than I do. And what we're going to see is just a half a minute. It's a patient that came to our labs. She came with her guide dog and her white cane. And she took, half hour and tested what we had. And as she left, we asked her, hey, how'd it go? What does this all mean to you potentially? And I think she said it beautifully. So if you can roll that now, that'd be fantastic. And thank you, Alex. Appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
When I was a little girl, I didn't think that there was going to be anything that could help me see. I'm the first person to tell somebody that I want to be independent, and the fact that I was here today and I was able to read the really, really small print, D, C, and then I normally have to see somebody about 3 to 5 inches from my face in order to actually see the details of their face. And being able to put on the glasses and look at people in their faces and be like, oh, hi, that's what you look like. That alone is mind-blowing to me.